They Reminisce Over You, to me, is not just one of the greatest hip-hop songs of all time. It's one of the greatest songs of all time. And you spoke about your ear. They Reminisce Over You is the perfect example for me of how to sample in hip-hop. That today, that Tom Scott, like if aliens came down to Earth and they said, what's the perfect flip? Like, Troy, They Reminisce Over You. Because if you listen to that record, and it's like, what, 1 minute and 40 seconds or something in, you just listen, you vibing. I don't think anybody but Pete Rock would have heard that loop in the way that you heard it. And that, to me, is the talent.
So check this out, right? With that joint. If you ever heard Black Sheep's first album, they used the sample too.
Yeah. On a doom 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 doom. That part.
They just used the guitar.
Yeah, the guitar.
So when I found the sample, they were on that album. It was so many other things, right? But when I listened to the Today song, I let it fly, right? Listening to it, like, damn, it's so much more to this song. Like I said, I know Black Sheep used it, but damn, that bass line.
Similac Child. The title just jumped in my head.
Yes, Similac Child. And, you know, I heard all these other elements in the song. The bass line, and then I started picturing drums in my head and then made the drums, you know what I'm saying, on the SP. Made the bass line, all that stuff, filtered it on the SP. And then with the SP, you had to dump and save. So you had to take certain sounds, save it, then, you know, erase the sounds, but you may leave the drums and then add your other elements. And that's how I made the beat.
Man. Now, not only...
And I was saving it on it was like four different discs of that one beat.
Floppy
and now your homie Madlib is out here on the iPad. But we'll get into that later. We'll get into that later.
I talk to O all the time, every day, so we already know.
We're going to talk about Madlib, of course.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about it.
On this subject, tell the world, or at least the listeners to this show, about who Trouble T.R.O.Y was, and how important he was to the family and the crew, and what making that record to celebrate his life meant to you.
Trouble T.R.O.Y was one of the greatest neighborhood buddies you can have. And he lived on my block. Hev lived that way. Troy lived that way. So I'm in the middle of both of them. You know what I'm saying? He was one of those guys that, you know, if he seen you getting beat up, he'd be like, all right, we're going to teach you how to fight. And this is what he did for me. I got jumped. You know what I'm saying? And then he heard about it, and he made me fight the dude and told me, if you don't beat this nigga's ass, I'm going to fuck you up. And, you know, I ain't want that. And so I was doing anything to win, man. You know what I'm saying? I took a bottle, you know, I took a garbage can, and I just started wailing on the cat. And then I beat him up. You know what I'm saying? And then he told me, like, he was one of those type of dudes. So that goes directly to your heart right there.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? You know, when you got people like that, just like, that's real love.
Yeah.
Someone who really cares about you. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't want to see you getting beat up in the street. And with that said, it was like, he was just this loving neighborhood dude. And when he passed away, it was just like, the way it happened. And when Hev called me crying like that, I was like, you know, I ain't know what to think. And then he said he could barely get it out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? And then when he finally said it, we were just all devastated, man. The whole neighborhood. Like, I just ran out in front like, yo, Troy's dead. And it was crazy. It was crazy, man. So I somehow found the inspiration in that song or in that sample to create something for him.
Yeah.
And CL actually had these rhymes written, but it wasn't like, you know how you may have something in the composition book that you like, I need a beat for this.
Yeah.
And I was making Reminisce, and then I gave him the beat, and he was experimenting with it, and then he turned pages in his composition book and said, you know what, I'm gonna use this. And it was the same rhymes that you hear on Reminisce. But with additions to, you know, being T.R.O.Y.
Right.
Naming it Troy, and then talking about him in the joint.
Yeah.
He had to add his experience with Troy, which was a fight in the street with Troy.
What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party. When opportunity knocking, then young nigga move that door. Whoa, get your foot stuck, get it, call me young, go get it. Now you can't fuck with it, might as well roll with it. What's the